All right, welcome in everybody to the Fantasy Football Gurus podcast. Today we are live, we are in person, and we'll get you ready for week 3.
Yeah.
You wanna,
Kind of to preface this, we are filming this during Monday Night Football, so if you
Yeah.
see us glancing off, that's what we're peeking at.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of what we're talking about is not going to affect anything really what's going on here, so our opinions shouldn't change too much because so far they've been pretty awful games.
Yeah.
Low scoring, lots of mistakes,
Yep.
and stuff. And honestly, for the most part, these aren't teams that we would normally talk about too much. Besides,
Maybe the Browns,
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson,
Exactly.
Amari Cooper,
and then I like Derek Carr more than you do too. So,
Yeah.
but that's really our only stance on that for the most part. But to kind of lead this off, last week we had a new bit going on. The pimp versus the simp. Now, name I'm still kind of workshopping a little bit, but so far I kind of like it. You won, barely, barely.
Two good players. It's
two-
gonna be close.
Absolutely. CMC, I don't have exactly in front of me, but I'll get it. But really, it's you got the point. Score doesn't matter too much. CMC had like 22.5, and Bijan was like 21.8 or roughly there. So you did one, barely, but you did it. so far the pimp is up one. But I have a hard one this week.
All right.
I have a hard one, and I think it's going to take a little bit of thinking because it is overall two very similar players in the exact same position
Yeah.
as each other. They're both rookies.
Okay.
They both had awful week ones,
Okay.
but really good week twos. We have first Marvin Mims
Okay.
for the Denver for Denver. Week 1 he only had 2.9, right? This week 20.3. He's also going up against Miami for week 3. So pretty good defense. Currently right now projected at 6.17 points.
Okay.
If you're curious. The other one, Tank Dell
Oh.
for Houston. First week against Baltimore, he had 6.4 points. Week 2, 20.2 against the Colts. Next week, I would kind of argue maybe a slightly better defense against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is right now currently projected at 8.6. I think I know which one you're going to go with.
Yeah.
But kind of talk us through who you want to
Who's Tank Dell, or who's Houston against this weekend?
Jacksonville.
Okay. So I'll pretty easily go Tank Dell here. He had like 10 targets a week ago. Marvin Mims doesn't even have like 10 on the season.
Yep.
A lot of good reports. Yeah, Marvin Mims got the 20 points with a big play. Tank Dell just catch. His game, even before the season started, he reminded me of Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay.
And I think I found another one. I got him sitting on a taxi squad.
Yep.
Tried to get him in another league too, just for this season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I really like what I see there. I'll take him pretty
All right.
easily here.
Now,
Targets is something you got to look at.
absolutely. Now, for those of you watching, odds are you could potentially have both of them on your bench or in a taxi squad because they were both super late. I think Tank Dell you probably could have gotten in free agency early enough. Early enough in drafts and stuff like that. So, hey, if you heard it here first, start Tank Dell over Marvin Mims if that's this kind of situation you're in, and we'll update next week on the pimp and this versus the simp. So
and I think that can take us into our next thing: buys and sells. And Tank Dell is someone to buy right now. Now, maybe you want to wait until he has like a worse week if he's already on someone's roster because you can't sell. I can't trade a guy that just scored 20 points and got 10 targets. And Houston, they're terrible. They're going to be behind the whole season.
Yep.
That's something I look for too. Game script. I want guys that'll be behind. That's why Hawkinson. I was telling people on Discord, he's a top 2 tight end.
Yep.
But Kelsey, he'll get his chances. And then Hawkinson obviously will be behind.
Yep.
And yeah, he'll just get a lot of targets.
So Tank Dell's a buy. Not maybe wait a week, but buy.
If he's sitting on the waiver wire, pick him up. Don't be stupid. Don't even over. The Rams receivers, they have Cooper Kupp coming back. Even if you think he'll be out longer or get re-injured, who's going to come back onto Houston and take balls? Nobody.
So, what about Marvin Mims? Are you selling him because he had the big week?
Yes. Actively trying to sell him. I've already sent you trades. It feels a lot better when you score 20 points and you have 10 targets versus 20 points on 2 targets because it's just one big play. Now, another buy this week, rookie wide receiver, a guy I've talked about very highly, Jalen Hyatt.
Yep.
2 deep balls, looked great. Showed off the speed in the first one behind safety and cornerback on a play. He's someone to buy and pick up too. I even saw a video today where they were saying pick him up on the waiver wire for redraft leagues. I was like, wow.
Now, I don't know about redraft necessarily, especially going in. If you have him, I wouldn't be starting him next week at all.
No.
But he's definitely somebody for depth.
He's like Tank Dell. I don't know if I'm starting him yet in redraft, but end of the season when there's more injuries, those are the kind of guys that win leagues.
Oh, absolutely. The other buy or sell. I think this one is a very interesting one because I don't think, especially not me, was really watching this guy too closely until the end of week 1 and a little bit more into week 2. Kyren Williams, 2 weeks in a row now, he's scored almost 20 points in week 1, 17.4, almost 30 this past week. He's got Cam Akers in front of him, and he's not doing anything. And right now, the Rams are actively trying to trade him. We just got that news an hour ago.
No, they were trying to last year too, and no one came up, and probably during the off season.
Exactly. So where are you at on Kyren Williams? You starting him? Are you trading him? What
If Cam Akers is out, he's a start now.
Yep.
As far as buy and sell, I would be leaning buy.
Sure.
It's just if Cam Akers comes back, he could take touches. If Cam Akers is a healthy scratch every week, then I like him for 15. We'll say averaging 15 points in PPR.
Yep.
Because he's looked good.
Now, you and I talked about this a little bit ago, but I think this is kind of an interesting topic too, especially when it comes to somebody like Kyren Williams, right, who comes out of almost absolutely nowhere, kind of like what Kareem Hunt did his rookie year.
Yeah.
We play in one league with a taxi squad, right? And I'm somebody who has Kyren Williams on my taxi squad. Are you somebody who takes him off your taxi squad in a league where it locks, right? So you can't replace him with anybody else. So that means you definitely have to drop somebody. You can't put anybody in his spot. Are you putting him on your active bench?
Yeah, and I guess it depends what your running back room already looks like.
Yep.
Let's say you had Saquon Barkley, who's hurt now. I'd say activate him. I'd rather use Kyren Williams than Matt Breida or whoever the Giants go with that running back while he's out.
Right.
Now in your situation, you kind of already got 2 starters, so maybe not worry about it yet.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, your backups are Dante Foreman was literally a healthy scratch, so I don't want any part of that. Yeah. Penny's a drop, a sell of. I mean, if you can even get anything for Rashad Penny, but he's droppable.
Yeah.
We were talking about it on the Thursday night. I literally just said he's someone you can drop and not care. If anything, get Gainwell, get Swift. If he's not picked, well, he probably is.
Right.
Gainwell's the one that might not be because his ADP was a lot lower.
Now, I think this one's an easy one because his more or less replacement will probably be coming back in 2 weeks. But he had a really good game this week. Zach Moss. What you doing with him?
Trying to sell. Trying to trade him. Again, he's someone I've sent you trades for with Marvin Mims because 20 points, but I don't see him scoring 20 too often. Houston's a bad team, so okay, great. And then then Jonathan Taylor might come back in 2 weeks. I think he's gonna get traded straight up.
Sure.
Somehow, some way. Likely to Miami. I wouldn't be surprised if there's already a deal worked out.
Yeah.
They just can't do it until after week 4 officially. So
would you? Sure. I mean, you could try to see what you can get for Zach Moss, but would you think it'd be more beneficial then to maybe wait another week and a half to see what happens with Jonathan Taylor? Now, if Jonathan Taylor starts, Zach Moss's value is completely gone.
Yeah,
so you run that risk. But Jonathan Taylor doesn't want to be there. So do you wait and see if Jonathan Taylor just says, you know what, I'm just not going to play this year? Or, like, where are you at on that gamble?
Well, I'm more likely he's going to come back, and I just don't see him actually scoring that much, 20, 15 points. I believe more in Kyren Williams than Zach Moss.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm selling Moss.
So, the next one I got, I think, is a little harder. And let's put this in a dynasty sense versus redraft. I think for a redraft, it's easier, and I think you'll know why. It's a rookie that you and I actually, you put me onto him, and you got me super hyped on him, and he's kind of been a letdown these first 2 weeks. Quentin Johnston.
Yeah.
Week 1, 2.9, and then this last week, 1.7. So we're not seeing the targets. We're seeing some drops. We're seeing some ugly play. Where are you at on him?
Yeah, he's still a buy for me. His snap count's also very low.
Yep.
I'm a little afraid, actually, his coming out game is going to be against the Vikings. You heard it here first. He's still an easy buy for me. Once Keenan Allen or Mike Williams gets hurt, I'm starting him all day, not even thinking twice.
No.
Still big guy, athletic. Excited to see what he does in this league. So, yeah, go out, try and get a trade, try and find someone impatient, and get them in a trade.
Yeah.
In Dynasty.
A couple more that we can do. I don't know how many more you want to do, but this one I think is definitely controversial, especially just between you and me. I already know you and I have difference of opinions when it comes to this player. The tight end, Kyle Pitts. Week 1, he had 6.4 points, and week 2 we're looking at 3.5. Last year was awful, and it doesn't look like we're getting better math wise and whatever. Where are you at on Kyle Pitts?
So still like the athleticism a lot, 6'6", huge. Some of the pass plays they ran, he was like the decoy, or London's going to come across the field and Pitts is going to get in. Who's ever supposed to cover him's way. I'll lump him and London together in this one. In dynasty leagues, buy. In redraft leagues, sell. Okay. Because right, this will be a spotty year. Dynasty, you're thinking multi-years.
Yep.
I believe Ritter's either going to figure it out or they're going to get a quarterback in there that knows what they're doing. Fair. Kyler Murray in a trade. Maybe Derek Carr they give up after a year. I don't.
Sure.
Whatever. They'll eventually get some kind of quarterback, and then their value is sky high, and
right.
You're drafting them in the second round of dynasty startups.
You have the same opinion as when it comes to somebody like Drake London, and whatnot. Kind of
Yep.
like the same with Pitts. Buy him with
Freak
if you
athletes.
can.
Yeah. Buy him in dynasty leagues, redraft, sell them.
No.
Because this year won't be their best.
Yep.
But yeah, it'll keep getting better. I'm confident.
So, kind of a left turn ish, because it's more or less kind of the same story with Kyle Pitts. Had an awful last year. This guy had a little bit of a reason. He was shot.
Yeah.
This year, 2 weeks going, and he's had 2 good weeks, right? There's the big meme about him. Brian Robinson. Where are you at on Brian Robinson?
Sell. Easy. He just athletically doesn't really, amaze me watching his highlights or any of his play in general. So, yeah, he's easy sell for me.
We should talk.
Yeah, we will talk. Give me a running back and a cheap receiver in what league do I got him in? The best ball league.
Yeah, he just screwed me over. So I'm kind of interested. But
Gibson,
yeah,
they still like their. I haven't looked at their snap counts yet, how much each one played, but I think Gibson will still take a lot of snaps from him.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think this one, and we can, if you want, we can end it after this one. This one I think is interesting because Miami cannot stop the rumors of running back situation, right? The Jonathan Taylor situation and everything else. Raheem Mostert. So far, he's had 2 really good weeks, right? Week 1, 13, which is all right. But week 2, 25.7. Obviously huge. It was a big game against New England.
They were playing with the lead that whole game.
Yep.
So my answer again, sell. With running backs, you never know. Again, there are rumors about someone being traded there, which again I think is going to happen. I won't be surprised. Really fast. 31 years old too. How bad do you want a 31-year-old running back? On your dynasty team. So, yeah, just something to keep in mind. He's a sell for me.
No, for sure. You want to move on from that, or do you have you want to do a couple more?
Yeah, maybe one more. Is there someone else I'm trying to think in the news that's like a buy or sell?
Let's do this from a redraft angle. This
okay.
one, because dynasty, this one's super easy.
Okay.
But in a redraft angle, Garrett Wilson. He's got.
Sell. He had another long touchdown run.
He was 2 of 8 for 83 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yeah, and a lot of that again came on the long touchdown run. The guy that Diggs in Dallas will take some chances, and he kind of got burned.
Yep.
So I'm not buying that. Yeah, he's gonna have these kind of plays every week.
Now, obviously, dynasty, you're holding on to him because he's got that up-end talent, plus Rodgers coming back next year.
Yeah.
Or who knows, maybe they'll draft a quarterback if they keep dropping, and so on. So I feel like that's a little bit too easy of an answer.
Yeah.
But definitely for redraft, I think it's interesting. A lot of people still have him in like their top 10 for wide receiver.
And for buy and sell right in dynasty, I like that answer. Hold, because just. He'll have the 1 catch weeks, maybe even no catch weeks. That's when you buy. Mm-hmm. Rodgers is out, but he's still scoring 15, 16 points.
Yeah.
No, wait for the bad weeks.
Yeah.
If you want to buy him.
I have one more, and then we have I have something that I definitely want to talk to you about. Josh Jacobs. So to kind of preface this, 2 years ago, I was like, all right. Josh Jacobs, he's going to get his shit together.
Yep.
Just watch. Hall of Fame style season is coming. he hurts his pinky toe, and he's out for most of the season.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, all right, I'm not touching him with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
The following season, he drops to like round 6-ish.
Yeah.
And then has his basically almost Hall of Fame caliber season last
Great
year.
season. Yeah.
Amazing season. Crazy good value. Won a bunch of people their leagues, right?
Yeah.
So far, he's having a really slow start.
Yeah.
Right now
we're not
looking
cracked 10
at,
points yet. I know.
Nope. This past week it was 9.9, so he's right under 20 points overall so far starting the season after 2 weeks. Not something you want to see out of your star running back that you're getting right away, beginning second round, sometimes early, late first round. So where you at with Josh Jacobs?
He, to me,
I feel like there's two answers: redraft and dynasty. Because I feel like
but
it's
you
very
just
different.
said redraft.
Either.
So redraft wise, he's a buy.
Okay.
Because I think starts off slow, but still good weeks to come.
Yep.
Now, if the guy that drafted him, is well aware last season, then it's harder. But some people, they just see, this guy hasn't scored 10 points yet, screw him.
Right.
I mean, the Buffalo game was tough. They were behind the whole game, so obviously you're not going to run the ball. Week 1, Denver defense didn't play well this week, but in general, I still think they have a good defense.
Yep.
So no, I actually think he'll come back around. Now it's funny because there's a infamous TikTok people still favorite comment on to this day where in the offseason I was saying sell.
Yeah.
So I kind of look smart now.
Right.
He hasn't cracked 10 points. What do they have him compared to other running backs? If you want to pull that up, that'd be interesting after 2 weeks.
26.
Yeah. And he was what last year? 2, 3, something like that.
Sometimes 1. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean scoring wise on this, he was top 3. So obviously I'm looking pretty smart there, saying sell. But now I'm saying I think the market's gone down. Not a good injury. Nope. Nick Chubb going down. Live, breaking it here.
Yeah. Breaking it about 2 days late. That's
no, he's playing right now.
Oh, well, I mean that this will be go up.
Yeah. We're reacting to it now. So I already have Jerome Ford in a league. There's a lot of good reports. I guess we'll just start talking about this Chubb injury. There's a lot of good reports there. If he's being carted off, he's out at least a week.
Yep. Plus, he's a big dude, so any injury is kind of a little extra.
I don't know if the Browns play next week or going forward. I would honestly rather have Jerome Ford than Matt Breida.
Yep.
Getting a lot of good reports. And Matt Breida's been in the Giants for a while. He's nothing special.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's a buy right now, Jerome Ford. Pick him up before people know what happened to Nick Chubb.
Right. For anybody watch it too, if you're on Sleeper will usually report sometimes a little too early before the actual news has come out, and sometimes they get it wrong. But if you have the alerts on, you're usually at least 2 to 5 minutes early than everybody else. Sometimes you'll send me something on Twitter and yeah, dude, I'm going for 10 minutes. And whatnot.
So I only send your guys.
Right.
I just want you to know.
Because I know a lot of the times I'll get my sleeper notifications, and then half hour later I'll get notifications from NFL, ESPN, and stuff like that. It's dude, come on.
How much later until you get a trade notification from me?
About 10 minutes.
Anyways, sell Chubb, buy Jerome Ford.
Yeah. I would kind of wait to see what the injury is, because if it's just an ankle, it might not. Unless it's a high ankle, then yeah, it's absolutely sell. But if it's a low, a
dynasty wise too, 28.
I still hang on.
Okay, well, a lot of running backs, honestly, they're the same to me.
Yeah.
CMC, Austin Eckler, even though he's hurt,
Yep.
And then Bijan. Those are like the top three, and then honestly, it's whatever after that. I don't even Etienne only scored 4.
Yeah.
And I like the talent there.
I think overall I like Chubb. He doesn't seem to cause any issues. He doesn't seem like the
he's a good dude.
Prima donna that a lot of the running backs seem to be. I feel like he understands his value too, which is the only reason I'm saying, hey, you should probably hold him because he's not going to pull the JT. I feel like he's not that kind of guy.
No.
Could be completely wrong, obviously, but
we're not in Cleveland.
Right. And I feel like he's definitely with like his build, he's somebody that can stay consistent till at least 30. Then when we get closer to 30, then yeah, sure, sell him. But I feel like you probably at least got another year. Even if he gets pretty badly hurt, you still have him at least next year.
Yeah.
Then maybe halfway through the season, if you're solid, sell him. But I don't know. But big thing I wanted to talk about with you today is Sleeper kind of sent out a top positional performances. Now, the beginning of the season, you and I got so much hate off of where we were ranking people, specifically a good old Minnesota Vikings quarterback, and so on. I got hate specifically for one of my takes, and we'll get there. But I also want to know kind of where you're at on a couple of these, because some of them I'm like, they're not going to be there for much longer. So we'll start with quarterbacks, right? Yep. Most important position. We'll start at number 3. We have Russell Wilson. Kind of surprises me a little bit, especially after last year. Last year he was lower than backup quarterbacks for most of the season. As far as points and everything else. But as of right now, he's the 3rd best quarterback for fantasy football. What do you think of that? Do you think he's going to stay there specifically or around there?
Well, we'll see with that defense. That's kind of why. Well, I guess the defense wasn't too bad week 1, but just they were throwing the ball a lot, so he got a lot of chances. Yeah. That last second Hail Mary, he probably got like 10 points.
Yeah.
Or 9 points or something close to that, because only 4 for a passing touchdown. So, I don't know, still around 7-8 points on the very last play of the game. I think he can finish top 10 because they got a tough schedule, so he'll be throwing plenty.
No.
Yeah.
The good one, right?
Yeah.
Because you and I got so much hate about this. Yeah. But I came out and said, before drafts were even being thought about right now, Kirk Cousins is going to be a top 5 fantasy football quarterback. And you and I just got hate comments after hate comments. Who's number 2? Look, Vikings defense sucks.
And
they're always going to be behind.
Even like the way you worded it, he will have a top 5-ish season.
Yeah.
And again, top 5-ish. So you can be
right. He could be
even
6,
8, 7, 6.
Right.
And you're right. He's sitting at number 2.
Yep.
Game script important, like we talked about. Defense, we're gonna be behind.
Yep.
Like the receivers, the tight end.
One of the toughest schedules in.
And I remember some of the comments too. Oh, I bet these guys, or I bet you, because you said he live in Minnesota, or love the Vikings or something, and. I don't know. I guess that's unfortunate that, I don't know if we talk about him or T.J. Hawkinson, it's coming from a Vikings fan.
Right.
It's not legit. It's not real.
Right. And that's the dumb thing, right? Because people will hate to look at, hey, Kirk Cousins has the best wide receiver in the league.
Yeah.
Maybe not fantasy wise currently, we'll get there. But he's easily got the best wide receiver in the league. He's got the 2nd best tight end in the league easily. I think. But
right
also
there, scoring a touchdown, Jerome Ford.
Yeah.
Too late.
But then also we got who you and I thought was the best wide receiver to come out of the draft, Jordan Addison. He's got 3 top tier targets, and you think he's not going to be a top end quarterback? I mean, that's just stupid.
Yeah. And a bad defense, they're going to be behind.
Exactly. But yeah, no, he's second right now. So, so far we are completely right. Now this one surprises me, and I think it's mainly because of this week. And he's not going to be there for very long, especially after week 3. Daniel Jones.
Yeah. I'm guessing this list is maybe just week 2, because I feel like he didn't score a whole lot week 1 because they got beat 40-0. But yeah, he's almost a sell.
Oh, 100%.
I don't know how I feel, but then it's like people are gonna say
10 minutes later.
What now?
NFL and ESPN both telling me Nick Chubb.
Yeah, see,
10 minutes late.
They're slacking. I don't know if there's too much to say there. I like the Giants coming into the season. They've just not been pretty so far. Yeah, they came back and won, but they never should have been down by a ton to Arizona without Kyler Murray, and just I don't know. They're nothing special in Arizona.
Wide receiver wise, third we have Mike Evans. Both weeks he's been pretty solid.
Yep.
Obviously dynasty wise I think for me he's a sell.
Yeah.
Super old. But if you're going for you gotta win, I mean I guess you gotta hold on to him. So
yeah. Wait until he has like a quiet week and try and buy in.
Yeah.
But no, he. I mean, I said it last week with Tampa, with him and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Like those guys are buys.
Yep.
Baker's good enough to get him the ball.
Yep.
You know, we'll see how the season goes. He still misses throws, Baker, by a lot for whatever reason. But
yep.
Yeah, he can consistently get him the ball. So
right. For number 2, they have Puka Nacua.
Yeah, he got a lot of targets. But yeah, he's a sell because I think once Cooper Kupp comes back, or even even if you think he'll be in and out of the lineup, how bad do you want a receiver that you don't know week to week?
Yeah.
He also had an oblique injury or something last week, so he's a sell. But yeah, it's again a lot because of just targets.
Yeah. For dynasty purposes, though, I mean, I know obviously if you have Cooper Kupp, I think no matter what, even in dynasty, you're holding on to him. Unless you're me, who trades him for a bunch of picks and then another competent wide receiver.
Yeah.
But Cooper Kupp doesn't have maybe a lot more seasons to go here, so
right.
What do you do with that?
Right.
Somebody's got.
But who necessarily says Puka Nacua is going to be the long term option there?
Fair.
I think if they get an early pick, like top 10 pick, I think they're going to take one of the wide receivers out of Ohio State, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah. And then this one I think is a little more interesting. Keenan Allen. He had crazy week 2. Lots of touchdowns. Where are you at with Keenan
Allen? He's still like a sell. Dynasty league, older, redraft. Maybe a hold actually. It's just a matter. Only way he's gonna lose targets and yards and catches is if he gets hurt.
Yeah.
I don't see them trying to like play Quinn Johnson more as long as he's healthy. So yeah, I'm still holding on to
him. Saquon Barkley for the running backs is number 3. How do you feel about that? Now we also have the injury currently right now too to kind of think about. Yeah. He's out 4 games currently. Where are you at with Barkley?
I guess I'm just holding him. I'm confident he'll be back 3 weeks or a month or whatever they said.
Right.
Dynasty, I don't even know how much you can get for 28-year-old
injury prone
running back. So hold.
Kyren Williams, number 2. We kind of talked about him a little bit earlier, but he's number 2 right now for running backs.
Yeah, and I I heard some people last year, hyped up about him. Came into the season with an injury, just didn't play a lot.
Yeah.
They also had Henderson there. But, you're someone that had him on your taxi squad, and now year 2 he's playing. So, yeah, you're kind of you're the guru on that one.
I always have a couple of good picks as far as the rookies go. But, I mean, you saw Amon-Ra before most people, too. Yeah. So, that's your kind of ticket there, too. Yeah. Bijan Robinson, number 1 running back, fantasy-wise. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Something we got a lot of hate for as well, because we said that he'd be higher than CMC.
Yeah. I don't know, number 2, I remember on my dynasty list, and now I wish I could go back and just give him the 1. Watching him run 2 with the jukes and stuff, I didn't know he had that in his game to that level.
Yeah.
He's in the LT Barry Sanders class. Maybe that's crazy to say after 2 games, but it's running back. There's not a whole lot to evaluate there. Do you got moves? Are you making guys miss? Yes.
Are you looking for the gaps versus just running into a wall?
Yeah. You have the speed. I like his whole game. He's my number 1 dynasty running back, and redraft next year we will be talking about him as a top 3 pick. Mark my words. I don't even think that's a hot take either.
What if he kind of pulls a Breece Hall, right? He has a really solid first couple of games, and then he has the ACL or something like that. Because of the way they're running him, you never know. So you think he still could be a top?
Well, if he tears an ACL, then he's like a second round pick, early second, I think. Because, there'll be other running backs or, people, I'll even be nervous to take them. So,
moving to the tight ends. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting because I don't fully agree with what Sleeper has here. I feel like it's a little skewed here. But we'll roll with it. They have Mark Andrews, number 3.
So he must have had a bigger week 2 because week 1 he didn't play.
Yeah.
But a lot of people hyped up about him. Not too much to say there. He was drafted the 3rd tight end overall, so he better, right?
Yep.
That's what he's doing.
Absolutely. And then Hunter Henry is number 2.
Yeah, and he's been a shock so far this season because I know he had the best week of any tight end, and it's guys like him too. That's why. I'm not doing. If I don't think you're a big difference maker in redraft, I'm not taking a tight end early.
Right.
I'll take the rookies this year. Just don't even screw around with them. That's my advice. Because you'll have guys like that. 2 years ago, Dalton Schultz, Dawson Knox.
Yep.
We were picking up in leagues, won with them. So yeah.
I actually have a question for you on one of the rookie tight ends, but we'll get to that in a minute. T.J. Hawkinson. Now we have to be careful because we're going to be labeled homers.
Oh yeah.
But number 1 tight end in the league so far is T.J. Hawkinson. What are your thoughts there?
Not surprised. Hope I'm not repeating myself. But yeah, I told people on Discord there's 2 tight ends that actually stand out to me. Kelsey, even though I don't like taking a tight end in the first round, but still, and T.J. Hawkinson. Otherwise, after that, I don't care about tight end. I'll take Dalton Kincaid at the end, but no, he looked great. He'll get a lot of balls the rest of the season. Vikings will be behind, so we'll be throw. Especially this week against the Chargers. That'll just be all offense. Let's be real.
I did think it's kind of funny too. So in one of the leagues that we have a tight end premium.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys after Kelsey was taken, everybody else just kind of just sat back and not took any tight ends. Yeah. So what did I do? Because
you drafted him.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, everybody else was taking all the really good wide receivers, and then I'm sitting there. I was like, hey, I could take basically who I think would be a round 8 wide receiver in the 4th round, or I can take TJ. Yeah. I'm going to take TJ. Seems to be working out pretty good for me so far.
Yeah.
And then, you get later on, it's like, these wide receivers are like round 12 to me. So, all right, I'm going to take Kittle, and I'm going to take Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
It's working out pretty good. Now it didn't work so great week 1, but
Well, they
injuries
were hurt. Yeah,
exactly.
That it's not they didn't play. They played bad. They just can't score points on the bench.
Right. So if you're playing in a tight end premium league, then maybe pay a little bit more attention to the tight ends. But otherwise, I agree with you. I was a big Dalton Schultz guy back in the day.
Now in that same league, they were a bit of a premium to me. I just value youth. So I got Kincaid, Laporta, guys like that.
Yeah. Speaking of Laporta, I don't know if you saw it too much. It seemed like he got the wind knocked out of him pretty good. He got he kind of looked out of shape at a couple of spots. Right, he was super tired toward middle-ish towards the end of the game and whatnot. Do you have any kind of reservations if you did see any of maybe
I guess I didn't see that, but no, he's just a rookie. He'll figure it out.
A lot of the
he'll get in shape.
The commentators were kind of bashing him a little bit yesterday, so I was curious on I don't know if you saw that or not.
No. Commentators are down
because he did have that one really big play, and then they took him out for a little bit and whatnot, but it's just kind of interesting. You and I kind of already called it on a few of these guys. Now Daniel Jones being one kind of came out of nowhere. Hunter Henry 2 came out of nowhere too. But I mean that's gonna happen obviously. But we did get a thing on Discord. If you want to go through that.
Brian69 asked to do a roster review. This is just a 1 QB redraft league start. 8, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kicker and defense. He has crushed it these first 2 weeks. Scored 174 this week. Let's go back to week 1. And he had 123. So above the median in both. And I think he's by far the highest.
Yeah.
He's got almost 50 over me at second highest. So before I even dive into the team, in this league, I believe wide receivers are king because they're the only ones that get a bonus PPR. Well, I guess running back too if they catch a ball in tight end, but no other premium.
Okay.
So he's got Devontae Adams, 20 points there, solid. Devontae Smith.
Okay.
He looked good against us on Thursday night too. Mike Evans.
Okay.
And then his last flex was James Cook. He got lucky there, 19 points, 17 carries. That kind of stands out to me. But they were playing with a lead, so you can just run the ball a lot.
And I know you're not a big fan of the Cook brothers, but James Cook did actually look pretty good this week. He didn't look good at all last year. In week 1, it was kind of but week 2 he did look really good. Now, good. You're right. They were playing with a lead, but still.
Well, you just you get the ball more, you can score more points. Then he's got Adam Thielen on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone in his IR, Jacoby Myers. So receiver wise, really good. I'm still trying to get maybe one more.
Yeah.
Because these guys are older. I'm nervous. Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, how long they stay in.
And the thing with me with Devontae Adams is I loved him when he was in Green Bay, and I was iffy on him when he went to the Raiders, even just with Derek Carr. But now having Jimmy G and who knows who for next year, I'm not a Devontae guy anymore.
No.
It used to be, who am I going to take? Stephon Diggs or Devontae? Now it's not without
Diggs.
a doubt I'm taking Diggs.
Yeah.
No matter what.
So then I'll just go from the top. I want to start with receivers. I just believe they're the most important in the format.
Yep.
Quarterback, Justin Fields.
Fine.
And then backups, Derek Carr and Bryce Young.
All right. For this dynasty, right?
Just redraft.
Oh, just redraft.
One QB.
Oh, too many
so,
quarterbacks.
So I guess I like though yeah, Justin Fields, boomer bust all the way. He's getting a lot of hate right now,
Yep.
but in terms of fantasy, he scored 16. Let me see how he did last week. 15.
It's fine.
Okay, like a little bit more, but
Right.
um, yeah. And then Derek Carr, he's only at 3 points right now, but he's solid.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially for a redraft, if you
Yeah.
wait a little bit to take your second quarterback, he's a really good backup. I think having Bryce Young is kind of a waste, or
Yeah.
you either pick one, right? Derek Carr or Bryce Young. That way you can have somebody else in that bench spot.
oh yeah,
Um,
I'm not holding any of these rookies. Maybe Richardson
Right.
in a redraft, which is something too. I'll be critical of Richardson in Dynasty, but for redraft this year, I guess I'll take him over the other two.
Right, because all the running, all the rushes.
Yeah,
But I mean, in a redraft, my philosophy overall is 2 quarterbacks maximum. You can get away with if you have somebody like Patrick Mahomes, and just having him, and then
Yeah.
when it comes to the bye week, just pick somebody up.
yeah,
But for me, if you have somebody like the top 3-ish or whatever, just have them. Otherwise, I'm rocking 2 quarterbacks and that's it.
yeah. You don't need a whole lot.
Yep.
So now running backs: Saquon Barkley, Miles Sanders.
Ugh.
Again, James Cook we were talking about in the flex.
Yep.
Tajay Spears. So running back wise,
Not
little screwed going forward, unfortunately, with the Barkley injury. So you're looking at Sanders, Cook, and Spears. I mean, he scored 7 points, but not real reliable because he's the backup to Derrick Henry.
Yep.
Don't know. I think I heard week 1 he was playing third down a lot, which is good, but yeah, you're limited there. So
If I was him, I would be trying to sell somebody like Devontae Adams for another running back, and maybe if you could get a wide receiver combo out of it, maybe just a lower end wide receiver, but still comparable for your bench at the very least, to get a decent some kind of running back.
Yeah.
Because right now, he's definitely screwed as far as running backs.
yeah, and I'm definitely putting in a waiver for Jerome Ford.
100%.
But otherwise, yeah, if Barkley's hurt, for a 12-team league, I can live with this running back room.
Yeah.
It's like maybe not guys that I would prefer,
Yep.
but I'm not gonna say they're too bad.
Right.
Tight end Evan Ingram.
Okay.
He's the tight end 3 on the season. Got him in the 5th round. So yeah, so far it's looking good. 9.9 week 1, 11.7 week 2.
Yeah.
It's looking
solid.
good. He was like the tight end 6 last year. I would prefer later round tight end, because I don't really care about Evan Ingram all that much. I mean, I would just swap him for another tight end if I can upgrade at a different position. But so far he's doing well. And then, let me see. And then he's got some backup tight ends. Tyler Higbee. He was like the tight end 5 last year. Now, part of it was he wasn't hurt at all last season. He played the whole season. It was like consistent 8, 9, 10 points. And then Juwan Johnson. A lot of hype with him. I just felt like that tight end room in New Orleans here was just too crowded.
Yeah.
So honestly, he's someone that you can just drop.
And I feel
make
like
room for another wide receiver, running back.
Yeah, and I feel like with Juwan, most of his hype comes from him being more of a TikTok star. Him and his wife.
Oh really?
They're huge on TikTok. So a lot of when him and then Isaiah like Rochelle or something like that. He was with the Raiders, who got dropped from the practice squad, and like a bunch of people, especially females, were looking into like how practice squad and everything works because they want to know all about their TikTok people. Juwan is big on TikTok. Him and his wife. So that's where feel like too much of the hype is coming from. I don't think he's that good.
And for me, it's just that room is too crowded. That tight end room.
Yeah.
Jimmy Graham, they brought back. Foster Monroe, they brought him from the Raiders. Came with Derek Carr, basically. And then whether you want to call Taysom Hill a tight end or a quarterback, he's still listed as a tight end. So right. Yeah, just too crowded for me. I'm dropping him. And then kicker and defense, real solid. Justin Tucker, Eagles defense.
Yep.
And he's got the Seahawks defense. So yeah, not the most important positions in the world, but
right.
You got some of the best at them. I'll give you that.
Again, I'm somebody, especially when it comes to defenses. In a redraft, you don't necessarily need to, but it's fine, I guess.
Yeah. Somehow, Seahawks, they seem to be better. Well, they scored one week 1. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you get rid of Seattle to pick someone up. So let's look at quick who's on the waiver wire in this league. Who can this guy or Brian69 pick up?
Well, as of right now,
this is how we're end the video. Let's look at flex players he can pick up. Jaden Reed potentially. Tutu.
Yeah.
And it's just like a bunch of junk. Zach Ertz, I would just straight up take over his tight ends.
Over Jawan especially.
Yeah. Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, I like Hayden. He had a huge week 1. Obviously not too much right now going for week 2, but
Jerome Ford, who we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Another wide receiver to keep your eyes on. Demario Douglas.
Okay.
He's I guess that's more dynasty. Don't worry about him in redraft actually. Yeah. Michael Wilson. He's a rookie in Arizona. Oh, only 8 points. I thought he had more. But he's still someone to stash for later. This is a wide receiver. Yeah, I mean that's some names.
Yeah. I like the 2-2 pickup. To kind of keep an eye on and watch.
At least for the next couple weeks, right?
Yeah. And that was like one of those things because you and I had a trade because you had 2-2 and I gave you a 25 third I think it was, or 26
second.
Or 20 and that's just more it's either he keeps doing what he's doing or I wasted a second pick in 3 years. It's not the end of the world. And whatnot, but right now he's doing pretty decent.
Yeah, 17 week 1, 15 week 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that will wrap things up for this episode of the Fantasy Football Gurus podcast, getting you ready for week 3.
Hell yeah.